Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here to do a video about our plans for baby step 3. And I want to disclose two things first. One, I have a cold, so if you hear me sniffling and stuff like that, I apologize. I'm having a hard time with this cold. And second, I want to fully disclose that Jason and I do follow Dave Ramsey's baby steps, but we do it to an extent. So if you're not looking for a video that goes into a modified version of Dave Ramsey's steps, please click out of this video now. Jason and I love Dave Ramsey, we love his steps, but sometimes you need to modify them to make them work for your family, and that's what we do. So again, if you're not looking for that, please click out now. So before Jason and I found Dave Ramsey and his Total Money Makeover book, we had very similar views on debt that Dave Ramsey has. And I know when we paid off our student loans 6 months or so after we were done with our bachelor's degree, a lot of people asked us, oh, are you following Dave Ramsey's plan? And we're like, what is that? I don't know what you're talking about. You know, we had no idea. So we really started looking into Dave Ramsey probably around the same time that I started my YouTube channel. So I think it's kind of funny that we have the same kind of take on some things, but again, we do modify it to work for us. Just full disclosure, Jason and I just recently paid off my student loan, my master's degree student loan, and we paid off my Prius. So we are moving on to baby step 3, and I'll kind of talk about how we came up with our number and why, and then I'll do a quick little overview of like an example problem of how to come up with what your baby step 3 number is. So again, I'm going to modify this based off of our family. So again, if you're not looking for, you know, a modification from Dave Ramsey's plan, please click out now. So first off, our goal for baby step 3 is $20,000. And that may seem like a lot, that may seem like a little bit, but we have a few reasons why we came up with that. So first off, this number is 6 months worth of expenses, roughly. Obviously, I mean, if you came up with the exact 6-month number, it would probably vary a little bit, but it's around 6 months of our expenses. And we chose the 6-month option because if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey, you know that he says 3 to 6 months. And that's kind of confusing for a lot of people because they want like a set number. They want like, okay, you need to have $10,000 saved, or you need 20 or 30 or 50. But really, I think his thought is, you know, if it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to find a new job, if you lose your job or if you become disabled or something like that, that will hold you over until that point. But he does mention in his book, there are a few reasons why you would have, you know, more or less months in the savings. So for us, a few factors that relate to this is one, we are a single income family. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know that I currently work as an accountant and Jason is a stay-at-home dad. So if you guys didn't know that, now you know. Jason stays at home with our 2.5-year-old daughter. So one of the things that he mentions in his book is that you want to be closer to the 6-month option if you are living on one income. Because if I lost my job, it would be earth-shaking for our family, to be honest with you. And obviously with savings, it would be fine, but the pressure would really be on to find another job as soon as possible. Another thing that kind of contributes to that is Jason's heart condition. And this has been a huge factor in why we've modified Dave Ramsey's plan. So prior to paying off my student loans and our car, we had $20,000 saved. We had a full 6-month emergency fund. So step 3 was completely funded. And we really like the idea of doing that, mostly because of Jason's heart condition. Because again, if something happened, if he needed surgery, which with his condition, he currently has a replacement heart valve, and that has a limited time that it will last, and then he will need heart surgery again. And not only is it expensive, but then you have to think about, okay, well, who's going to watch Macy? Who's going to do all the things that he currently does? And so that has been a huge factor in why we've held on to money. And again, that's one of the main reasons why we've had a full emergency fund and not paid off debt. Mostly because while I was in school, we didn't want to take the risk that if something happened with his heart, that not only would I be struggling with school and taking care of Macy and all of that, but also dealing with Jason's recovery and everything like that. So we thought having that cushion would help us if we needed to hire help or whatever. So back to our emergency fund. So again, 6 months worth of expenses. And that's because we're on a single income, Jason's heart condition, and honestly, I wanted security. And Dave Ramsey talks about this in his book as well, that his wife really needed the security after they went bankrupt, and I can totally relate to that. My family has not always had a ton of money, and even to this day, you know, a lot of my family struggle, and that's very common for people, but I knew personally that I did not want to worry about money. I didn't want to worry about my house being foreclosed. I didn't want to worry about my water or heat or anything like that being shut off. And trust me, I've dealt with that before. So for me, the security issue was huge. So those are the main reasons why we came up with $20,000. So to give an example of how to calculate this, I wanted to do this because I know, again, a lot of people are new to this. They don't really know how it works. Again, I'm just doing a very quick example. I'll use some of our same numbers, but a lot of it will be a little bit different just because I don't want to disclose some information. So you want to come up with expenses. That's the main thing. You're not worrying about how much money you currently make and having that amount for 6 months, because honestly, you don't need to have that amount. If you're saving money right now, or if you're paying off debt and those are all additional, you know, they're not minimum payments, then you don't need to include those here. This is just like the bare minimum that you can, you know, pay and survive. So the first thing would be your mortgage or rent. And for this example, let's just say monthly basis, it's $1,000. So monthly, 6 months. Again, if you are from a 2-income family, or if you don't have heart conditions or, you know, any kind of medical condition and you want to do 3 months, you could just do what I'm doing, but just do 3 months instead. So you have your mortgage, then you have your utilities, so let's say electric, gas, water, trash. Then you would also have like your cell phone. You would have internet or cable, which again is also something that you could cut. But a lot of people do have like some type of contract, and so that might not be totally possible to do. So my electric on average is probably around $80. Gas is on average probably around $60. Water on average around $90. Trash is every month about $30. Cell phone for us every month is about $50. Internet and cable right now is like $130. Then you get into groceries, and I do it per week, but we're just gonna say $500 just to be safe, because I'm not going to include eating out here. I think if you are, you know, on the search for a job and stuff, you should try and cut that out, because that's not something that you need. But again, just make it work for you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't or shouldn't, you know, you should or shouldn't do anything. Then there's gonna be household expenses, obviously. And let's just assume that that is $100 per month. That's including like little repairs and toilet paper and stuff like that. Then you have gas for your car. Let's assume that's like $130. Then let's say medical, because again, that was a huge factor for us. And let's assume that instead of doing it monthly, for the 6 months, let's just assume that you hit your max out of pocket, because you never know. Bad things happen. and you want to be prepared. That was a huge thing. This is our out-of-pocket maximum for our family, $4,500. And that's definitely going to be going into a sinking fund as soon as we can kind of, you know, do that. But that is a huge factor, because if, like I said, if Jason has to get a heart valve replaced, we will be paying $1,500 out of pocket for just him. And then you never know. Within 6 months, Macy could break her leg again or something like that. So you want to be prepared. I'm sure I'm missing other things, but I just want to, you know, do a very quick example. So total expenses here. So we can, I'm not going to add it up by month, but I do want to do, why did I do that? I do want to do every 6 months. So I'm just going to multiply everything out by 6 to get those numbers. 80 times 6, 480. 6 times 6, I don't know why I did that. I know what that is. 90, 540, 30 times 6, 180, 300, 130 times 6, 780, 500 times 6, 3,000, household times 6, oops, 100 times 6, 600, and then 130 times 6, 780. So for this example, let's add up all of the expenses. And again, there might be things that you need to add. This is just purely an example, so I'm sure there are things that you need to have in here that I do not have. So 6,000 plus 480 plus 360 plus 540 plus 180 plus 300 plus 780 plus 3,000 plus 600 plus 780, and then plus the $4,500 for medical. So that brings you to $17,520. So you can tell, even with the bare minimum, I mean, I didn't include a lot of things. I didn't include like childcare. I didn't include like any, you know, if you don't have a job, you're not paying for medical, so your medical could be even more. I'm not including dental, I'm not including vision, I'm not including life insurance. A lot of things that are super important I'm not including, and you can see it all adds up. So 6 months, again, is what we're aiming for, so that's why I use this example. Some of the numbers are representative of what, you know, what we see, but some of them are just kind of made up for this example, especially our mortgage. I wish our mortgage was $1,000. But anyway, so that is kind of my example, and you can see it adds up fast. So $20,000 really is not, I mean, it is a lot of money, but it's not a lot when you're thinking about 6 months worth, especially when you add up, you know, all the extra things that you don't really think about when you have a job and when you have a spouse that's helping. But for our example, if something happened to Jason, that would be a huge factor, is childcare. So anyway, guys, that is kind of my example. That is kind of our plan for baby step 3. If you have any questions about kind of what I came up with, or anything like that, let me know down below. Again, this is totally modified to work for our family, and I think personally that if you can modify something to make it work for your family, that's the best way. But if you need the structure of following exactly what Dave Ramsey says, then that's also an option, and that's what you should do. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful in kind of determining what you should do for baby step 3. And again, if you have any questions about what I came up with or my example or anything like that, let me know in the comments down below. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.